Dr. Nina here, board certified clinical psychologist and owner of Prestige Psychology Suite. Today, I'm going to be covering the topic of the hidden anxiety of high performers and why no one really notices it. We're going to cover in this video the signs of high functioning anxiety that gets praised instead of worked on, and how to create a healthy relationship with productivity that leads more to peacefulness versus anxiety. So, why did I decide to do this one? Well, recently I was working with one of my clients, let's call her Michelle, and she was a top executive, brilliant, polished, admired by everyone. She was the go-to. She's the one that gets the work done, stays busy, came early, stayed late, that kind of a person. From the outside, it seems like she has it all together. She came to see me in the entrepreneur and corporate wellness program that I have. And one of the things that she was dealing with was this anxiety. She didn't know how to put a name on it at the time. She was waking up at 3 a.m. and couldn't fall asleep sometimes. And it was due to worrying about work, planning. Did she get this done? Did she finish that? Thinking about the email she had to do the next day, worried about parenting and marital stuff. Just all this stuff would start coming up when she got really idle and her mind would start going while still being called amazing by everyone else around her, right? This word was starting to really take over and manifest physically and a whole lot mentally. And one day she came and she broke down and said, I hate that I make everything look so easy, because she was really suffering in silence. This is high functioning anxiety. It's hidden in excellence, and it often gets applauded instead of the attention that it deserves. But what is anxiety in general? It's a natural response to stress or a perceived danger or uncertainty, something like that kicks off anxiety. We all get anxiety. We are human. It's a part of one of the human emotions. So it's not a bad thing. It's when it becomes persistent, overwhelming, or it starts interfering with your day to day life. That's when anxiety is a problem. That's when we need to do something about it. Let's get into phase one of this. The first part is, what are the signs? What are the signs of high function anxiety that get praised instead of treated, right? So one of those is like always being overly prepared, never saying no. They look like success because often they do get people to a successful place, right? To some degree, it reinforces the tendency to keep doing them. But you're always on. That's what people say. I'm always on. That's one. Another one is chronic. It's this chronic inner tension or internal pressure, but it's masked by external competence, right? So outwardly, you're getting it all done, doing all the things. Inwardly, it doesn't feel like you have relief. It's just always going. That's another sign. Perfectionist tendencies, it usually show up like a attention to detail, but overly so, right? It's taking you way longer. You're doing this way more than you need to. The thing is already at a level of competence and then some, but it's kind of like overkill. A constant busyness to avoid stillness or kind of be in discomfort when being still, because when you're left with your own thoughts, anxiety kicks in. So it's like a distraction tool to stay super busy and keep things going so your brain doesn't catch up with you. Another one, fear of disappointing other people. So this is people pleasing, but chronic people pleasing. Like everybody does it to some degree, but this is chronic and it's stemming from not wanting to be judged, not wanting to be liked, a fear of disappointing. So it's like it's overly so and placed for the wrong reasons. Racing thoughts is like when your thoughts just go from like one thing to the next 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 thing, and it just keeps going. Right? It's kind of hard to slow it down. People usually notice this one a lot at nighttime, but it can happen at any point. But usually when things are quiet or you're idle, the brain, the thoughts just go, 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 right? So that's another one. Difficulty relaxing. And more importantly, difficulty relaxing without feeling guilty about it. You feel like you're always supposed to be doing something. If you're not doing something, then rest is not counted as doing something, but it is. So difficulty with that. Irritability, muscle tension, you usually feel it in your shoulders. You might clench your teeth or feel tightness here. People get the tension headaches because they're always kind of clenched here. Or fidgetiness, that kind of what happened with you is another. Those are like physical signs. And you'll notice you're more irritable or have concentration problems. It's taking you longer to do the thing, or you're having to reread things or redo things and stuff like that. The last one I would say is self-doubt. It doesn't matter how successful you are, self-doubt kind of comes up. It's like, am I doing enough? Am I going to be able to sustain the position that I'm in? Or do I really have what it takes to be where I'm at? Those can fall under anxiety. And some of these, like I said, it takes people far. So it gets reinforced because it gets praised. And that anxiety cycle just continues. It just continues. So that is phase one. All right, phase two. Why? Why do some of these things show up under anxiety, particularly high functioning anxiety, such as perfectionism, overachievement, and people pleasing? Like, why are they under this category in the first place? It's more about where things come from, where it's being driven from on, and to help you figure out what you need to do about it. So all three of these help to reduce anxiety, and this is why they're done overly so under the anxiety umbrella. Perfectionism is driven by not wanting to disappoint others, holding yourself to like the super high standard, usually coming from your own background of not wanting to disappoint or getting things wrong, and control and losing control, more importantly, which is really what a lot of anxiety is about, is like not having control over what could potentially happen. And so that perfectionist tendency safeguards that to some degree. And so it really amps up under that umbrella. Overachieving can come from a lot of places, but a lot of times this is coming from trauma response from something in the past or child rearing. And basically, you're doing that as a way to feel secure and safe through accomplishments. People pleasing, the reason this reduces the anxiety is if you're not causing conflict, because people that are dealing with anxiety definitely don't want to tick people off. You're not feeling rejected or judged. And rejection, judgment, and feeling conflict and feeling like people do not like you is a lot of some of the common worries within anxiety itself. So what happens with this is it costs your personal boundaries. You rather take the hit yourself than to cause any kind of tension or negative judgment or perception of yourself. And so all of the reason why these three are so heavy under high functioning anxiety is because they do help ease it. So they get rewarded because people tend to like people that are perfectionists because things get done right. People like people that are overworked. It helps their company or them, that kind of thing. So you can see how these things can get reinforced. Okay, so we've talked about what is anxiety, what does high functioning anxiety look like in the day to day, and why some certain behaviors are exhibited more than others under anxiety itself. Let's get into how we can do something about it, right? So, for the person that takes the anxiety or nervous energy and you turn it into work, here's how to create a healthy relationship with productivity, right? So, that really helps you to not do it just to avoid that constant pressure that anxiety brings, but to separate the two. So, the first challenge I would give you would be to really work on redefining and transforming your mindset around self-worth that is usually equated to output when it comes to anxiety, particular high function anxiety. Like self-worth kind of equates to some degree on like the work you do and the accomplishments that you do. When you do those things, you feel better. People seem to praise you more. It's like more validating. Self-worth is defined by who you are in essence and not the work that you do. And really working on your mindset around like whether you do get stuff done or not, the essence of your self-worth is your qualities, the essence of you. And so that's a mindset shift that definitely takes time, but I just challenge you to one, be aware of it, and two, to start acknowledging some of those things. Next one would be learn to recognize when anxiety could be masquerading as drive. Sometimes we use drive as a distraction and it can crank out some stuff. It's when you're overdoing it and maybe you're doing it so much that now you're not spending time with your family, your friends, your relationships, because like you're overly compensating for that. So just recognize like when you're doing it for the wrong reasons. This is more of a mindset shift too, but the third one would be introduce rest as a strategy and not as a reward. So for my busy people, like ask me how I know. I have this problem. I've had to work on this a lot for myself, but I used to be like, whew, I done worked, did X, Y, and Z. I'm gonna take a break as a reward. You want rest to be just as much of a strategy as you have to eat for energy, you have to sleep for energy and rest and restoration. Those are must haves. This is part of like self care. Rest should be a strategy for self care and a part of your regimen, not as a reward of something you do, right? It's going to help you reset and recharge quicker just by taking more rest breaks. So, the hard part with this is setting boundaries around work, phone use, things like that. It's more for yourself because when you are the go-to and you're doing all the things, people are so quick to come to you and you're probably so quick to say yes. The last thing I would say is use journaling as a way to check in on your internal state, right? And not just your external performance, right? You don't want to just write about your accolades and all of that kind of stuff. This is more to kind of practice going back into that self-worth approach of really acknowledging just like who you are, how you're feeling, what's going on with you, and that it doesn't have anything to do with your output for the day. So, those are a few. Now, if this resonated with you in any way, like it, comment, share it with someone that has something similar, and more importantly, subscribe for similar things like this. I'll be covering different mental health topics. Like I said, I'm Dr. Nina. I'm a board certified clinical psychologist. I own a virtual mental health practice and I help ambitious individuals break the cycle of burnout and anxiety while still showing up in the way that they want to. So, hit me up with any questions or any interest. And I'm going to put a link in here for a free resource. It's a mental reset for high performance. So it has other strategies in there that you can apply that will be helpful to you. So that's it, YouTube fan, for today. And I will see you on the next one.